today we are talking about bunny bonding and why they need friends and what the benefits of it, and also going to try to go over how to do it. You know, there are some people who have like a solitary rabbit sitting alone in the yard, and that's just the saddest thing. And so being a part of the family is important, and also having a friend. You know, sometimes people have just one bunny at home and they, you know, they're bonded to their bunny, but you got to go to work. Most people have to leave the house for 10 hours a day, 5 days a week. And, you know, the bunnies can do okay with that. And certainly it's better than the alternative, which is sitting alone in a cage outdoors or in a pet store or shelter. But the ideal thing is when you're not there, that they do have somebody to cuddle up with. You know, people will say that they're bunny bonded to their cat or to a guinea pig. And so certainly where that's better than nothing, it's not quite what they're going to get from another bunny. So here's a couple of pictures of some happy bunnies. As you can see, we've got, you know, some sleeping bunnies relaxing and just chilling out. Okay, why should we get a friend for our rabbits? And usually I hear people say they don't have space or time for another rabbits. And as you can see, you know, you just need one litter box for the two bunnies. So many times the setup for a healthy, well cared for house rabbit is going to be sufficient for two. So usually what we recommend is that they live in maybe an X pen or two when you're not there, to keep them kind of controlled so they don't get into trouble. And when you come home from work, you can open it up and they can roam around a rabbit-proofed room or the entire house. And we should be thinking of them more as small dogs or cats as being our house pets. And so basically, you know, you're just giving a little bit more hay, a little bit more food, but it's all the same supplies. It's not a huge amount. The big difference comes between 1 or 2 bunnies and like 6 bunnies. Then you're definitely going to be increasing your workload and your amount of food. And so 1 to 2 bunnies is really pretty equivalent. So my rabbit seems happy enough alone. Yeah, so they can be happy on their own, but they're going to be happier with a friend. And you know, there are some people who do work from home, and that's nice, and if your rabbit is out and about and hanging out with you, and that's great. But still, if you see rabbits that are spending time together, they're cuddled together a lot of the time because in the middle of the day they're sleeping, they're relaxing, and so they're going to be usually cuddled up together, or they're going to go and explore together. And so if you're working at home and your bunny is out, I mean, if it's not cuddling on your lap or next to you, they're still not being able to perform those normal behaviors that they would if they had a bunny friend. And let's see, I don't want my rabbit to love me less or cuddle less. Usually what happens is you get a second rabbit, and now you have, you know, the love of 2 rabbits and the enjoyment of 2 rabbits giving you attention or wanting to be petted. Occasionally you will get, you know, your regular rabbit is going to stay as friendly, but the other rabbit might be a little bit more shy, depending on who you get bonded to. So that certainly does happen. Usually a shy rabbit is going to say, oh, well, you know, my friend is getting some petting, and I don't know, maybe that'll be good. Oh yeah, that looks good. So, and then it'll bring them more out of their shell, and so then you have double love, basically. So you're not going to get less attention. Let's see. And it's really, really fun to watch them interact. You know, you can say, oh, well, my bunny does binkies and he explores. But what's really cool is watching them interact. And, you know, it's like I have 2, you know, bunnies that they get to come out, and, you know, this one races down the hallway and then races back. And then it's the other one's turn, and he races down and races back. You know, or this one goes and explores the couch, and this one says, hey, what's up there? You know, and just watching them interact is pretty cool. So, and also sometimes when you're feeding them and then one says, oh my God, I want that green. So the other one's like, no, 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 I want that. And they're just kind of playing tug of war, or, you know, somebody says, oh, look over here. So it's really cool to watch them interact. So why rabbits need companions? In the wild, they live in family groups, and so it's natural for them to be with a group of rabbits. But usually what happens is that when they're they're born into the family, so everybody that's there when they're born is familiar and okay, and anybody new is going to be an intruder, and then you're not going to want that intruder there, or you're going to fight with them and make sure you know if they're okay and they pass inspection. So in that respect, with bonding rabbits, you can't just put two bunnies together and say, here you go, get along, like two dogs. You go off to the park together and they meet at the park and then they become fast friends. It doesn't quite work that way with bunnies. So, and I think that's because, they're born into the family group. Anybody who's not familiar, they're going to want to fight with. And so part of what we do with bonding is we get them to be familiar with each other, and while we prevent them from fighting. So, and here you can see some nice pictures of wild rabbits. And then also, rabbits will be communicating with each other. A thump to us, rabbits will thump when they're nervous, when they're upset, and they're like, oh my God, what's that? Kind of an attitude. But we're just gonna, look up like, oh, it's no big deal. But another rabbit's gonna be like, I don't know, what do you see? So they're communicating with each other. And so that's very important. And also you can see some of the body language here, and and how this one here is on alert and that one is eating. So they're kind of watching out for each other. So they can express their natural behaviors like cuddling, mutual grooming, and exploration. And you can see these guys here are exploring and getting into trouble and finding magazines. And these guys had a very busy day. The yellow pages just kind of became confetti. These guys are fighting over some parsley. So, and then here is a video of some mutual grooming. So I'll groom you, you groom me. Okay. All right. Rabbits, when they have a friend, they will tolerate stress and recover more quickly from an illness or surgery. That's why a lot of times when, if you have one of your rabbits sick and they're bonded, we do recommend that you bring them both when you come in for an exam, or if they're going to be hospitalized, because it's going to make the trip less stressful. It's going to help them deal with it. And then also occasionally you can have them lose the bond. So like if you have a sick rabbit, you only bring in the sick rabbit and it stays in the hospital for a day or two. When it goes home, if you left the other rabbit at home, all of a sudden this rabbit comes home, smells different, is acting different because he's not feeling well. And so the rabbit at home thinks it's an intruder and they can start fighting. And so if you can't leave both bunnies, what I recommend is when you're picking up the bunny to go home, like whether it's after a spay or a surgery or a hospitalization, bring the other bunny with you, have them travel home together in the carrier, and then let them out together. Okay. Also, they can learn from each other. In the wild, learning how to escape from a predator, but also in our houses, learning how to use a litter box, how to jump up on the couch or bed. And so you can see here, Angus and Ducky relaxing on my bed, or their bed, they will tell you. And then Rascal is going to work his way up here, and then his little girlfriend is like, how'd you get up there? And so she's going to try to figure that out. So...